Are you a busy woman who prioritizes everyone else's health above your own? Do you have questions about your diet, exercise, or how to prevent or treat certain health conditions? Are you always Googling health questions that you forget to ask or are embarrassed to ask your primary care physician? Girl, do you even have a primary care physician? Well, welcome to Headed to Healthier. I'm Dr. Brittany Anderson, a board-certified family medicine physician, and every day in my private practice, I have discussions with women just like you who are doing their best to juggle the demands of life while also desiring to become healthier. Inside this podcast, you'll find practical and actionable health tips that you can incorporate into your daily life. You'll get expert advice and insight from some of my awesome healthcare colleagues, and you'll hear relatable conversations with incredible women just like you who have made their health a priority and are thriving because of it. So throw on your sneakers and get some steps in while you listen. Or if you're driving, get those hands at 10 and 2 and let's dig in. We are headed to healthier. Hi, welcome back to this week's episode of Headed to Healthier. I'm so excited for this one. Our guest today is Jessica Jackson, and we are going to talk about 5 tips to running your first or next 5K. Jessica, it is so great to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So we are talking about 5Ks, and I'm just going to tell you, when I think about 5Ks, I literally think about you. I was looking back through some of the pictures in my phone, and I think you know this, but I ran my first 5K ever with you. It was back in 2017. For some reason, it was probably like a New Year's resolution or something. I reached out to you and told you that I wanted to run a 5K. And in March of 2017, we did it. And one of the things I really remember is just checking in with you throughout the process, you continuing to push me and encouraging me. And you remember that 5K, right? It was in
I do.
Birmingham.
Then you were so nervous and so scared and thought you were crazy because you wanted to do this crazy thing of running 5Ks. Was it
Yeah, so
something like,
it was
yeah,
yeah, it was literally 5 months of 5K. So we did that first one, the Rump Shaker 5K, I think it's called,
that's
in
the name.
Birmingham, and it was all about colon cancer awareness. So March is colorectal cancer awareness month, and so the city of Birmingham and the Cancer Society put on that race, and I think they still do it every
They still
year,
do it. I'm
probably.
doing it this year. You want to
Oh,
do it?
well,
You want to run?
we'll talk about that later. So we did that one. And just like you said, I was so nervous before it. I was nervous during the run. I thought that I was going to die multiple times during the run. But I finished it and felt so accomplished when I finished it. And in a very quick streak of insanity, I decided that I wanted to do 5 months of 5Ks. So in Alabama, I ran a 5K in March, April, May, June, and the last one in July. And let me just tell you, by the time I got to July, I really realized that I'd lost my mind because it is so hot in Alabama in July.
Facts.
Absolutely. So I ran that first one with you, and then we ran another one together too. We did
Right.
one at the zoo in Birmingham also, which was really fun because it wasn't just, running down the road or running along a path, but there were literal animals out along the way. And so
I
that made it
know. That
interesting.
was fun. That was fun.
That one was fun. So let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about you. So share your journey with running. Like I said, when I think about running, especially 5Ks, I think about you. So share your journey with running with us a little bit and what sparked your passion for 5Ks and why just in general 5Ks are your thing.
Okay. Running has been a part of my life like my whole life. Growing up as a kid, I'm racing my cousins. I'm wanting to beat my brothers. I'm like, that's the goal. Then I ran track. And a cool story that I always tell people when there's like, oh, tell me a random cool story about you. When I was in 8th grade, my school voted for someone to represent Prattville, Alabama, to carry the torch for the Olympics, 1996 Olympics. And we voted and I won, which is kind of crazy. Then they sent my name off to this random drawing. And of all these thousands of people, I was selected to carry the torch. And so I had to train for that. So I guess that's when you think about it. I actually was training and prepping, and it started there. Like I think only had to run like a little bit over a mile, but I
So you were
remember
literally
training.
running a mile and Muhammad Ali was there. Like it was a whole thing.
Yes, like it was a big deal. So the flame came through Alabama because it had to go all over the United States to make its way to Atlanta. And so when it came through Montgomery, Alabama, little old Jessica Jackson carried the torch over a mile. So I think I took a break. You get older, whatever. I went to college. I wasn't thinking about running. I went to the gym, but it wasn't like my thing. My brother runs. And so he got into the whole thing of doing 5Ks and 10Ks. Then he decides to do a run like in Prattville. He was like, "Hey, you want to do it?" I'm like, "Run like a 5K?" And I'm like, "You want me to run 5 miles?" Because everybody thinks 5K means 5 miles, but no, a
Right.
5K is 3.1 miles. Do not forget the point one. When you run a 5K, you will
That point one,
understand
that point one is everything.
it's everything. Do not short me. Do not be like, "Oh, you ran 3 miles." No, I ran 3.1 miles. So my brother was like, "You want to do this?" I was like, "Cool, it's 3 miles. Sure. I used to run. It's no problem. I'll run it. No type of training. Show up to the run, go out there. Gun goes off. I take off fast as I can. Because once again, I haven't trained. I don't know anything. The
Right.
flow of the crowd is running like they're running. They're runners. I'm running their speed. When I tell you, your girl walked the whole thing after that. I ran like the first
Yeah.
we'll say I had a good 3-minute run going, like, this is easy. No, people passing me, babies in strollers passing me.
That's the thing. It's the baby. It's the people
Yes.
literally pushing a stroller.
Oh, no, I've had a 70-year-old lady run by me, pat me on the back, and was like, "You got it, girl." And I'm like, okay. But no, I walked the whole thing, finished it, but still was like, whoa, that felt good. Even though I had not done the pace that I anticipated, I finished it. So that kind of sparked my interest in 5Ks. And I was like, you know what? I did that first one. I want to get better. Just like you had done one and you was like you had the crazy idea. I was like, I'm gonna do five. I did that one and I was like, I'm gonna do another one. So I was like, I'm gonna get better. And so I did another one and kept doing them. And then yeah, I just fell in love with doing 5Ks. Like I'm really addicted to them. I like them.
Yeah, you do them so often, and your time certainly has improved. I think when we ran our first one, you had already like done your post run walk and had probably eaten a whole meal and talked to half the people in the stadium before I ever crossed the finish line. So
That's
your
hey,
time
that's not
certainly.
important. Yeah, you finished though. You're right. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah,
I finished. That's
yes.
what matters. Yeah. So what do you love most about the 5K distance? Because I know you've run 10Ks, you've run halves. Have you done a
Yes.
full marathon also?
No, I said when I turned 50, I might do a full marathon because I'm 42. I had to think about that. But I might do a full at 50. I don't know. But I've done like 4 half marathons. I've done 10Ks, several 5Ks. It's just easier. It's quicker. I can get it done. Still, feel like I've accomplished something. So I like 5K. I won't do
Yeah.
another half marathon.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
not on
think
your
a
bucket
half
list?
no, it's not on my bucket list. It's not on my bingo card. I'm doing bingo cards this year, and
Oh,
there's
well, you bring that up. Everybody should do one. I was gonna mention that, but yes, put a 5K on your bingo card since we're talking about that. I had 4 of them on mine
oh,
last year,
I have
and I did
one
4.
on mine this year, and that looking at it is literally what made me think about wanting to do this discussion was that I need to cross something off my bingo card. So maybe it is on other people's bingo cards too. And here you go, ladies, here's your chance. So, several of our listeners may truly be interested in getting into running. And we're saying running while we're talking, but even if you walk the whole thing, you are doing more than most people are doing
Yes.
by doing
Yes.
a 5K and walking it. But if they are interested in running in it and maybe feel a little bit intimidated, tell us what your biggest hurdle was when you first started running and how you overcame it.
I think it's the distance. I think people automatically first think like, "There's no way I'm running 3 miles." And I love that you point out that you can walk it. Like you can run and you can walk. So I think that's the biggest hurdle is wrapping your mind around the fact that 3 miles is not a lot. It sounds like a lot, especially when you're sitting on your couch, you haven't been doing anything or you've never like ran to your mailbox and back. You're like, that's a lot. But if you can just wrap your mind, it's like, I want to accomplish this as a goal of mine. I want to just do something. Something you want to do.
Okay. All right. So, one of our plans for this show, Jessica, was to give our listeners some tips. And so, the title of the show is Five Tips to Running Your First or Next 5K. And so, whether you are a beginner, runner and this is going to be your first 5K, or if you're someone like me who I'm going to be honest with you, I've not run a 5K since that fifth one that I did in July of 2017. So I've got to get back into it. I asked you for 5 tips and you sent those tips to me. And so I want to go through them. So let's go right into it. Our first tip, or the first tip that you gave me, was just start. And so let's talk a little bit about getting started. For someone who's never run before, where do they even begin? Do they need to make some mindset shifts? Like, what do you say is the first step to getting started?
Like you said, just start. Just do it. Like, I think we get so much in our head overthinking it, just like you put it on your bingo card. If you're starting one, go look for a 5K. Actually go see what's being offered in your area. There are actually virtual 5Ks you can do. Like, you don't even have to think about doing one of the bigger ones. If you're afraid to do that, get your family, get some friends and say, hey, y'all, we're going to do this virtual 5K and we're going to meet up at the park on this day or meet up somewhere and you all do it. They actually give you a medal and everything. It's like a cool thing. They have different themes. I have a cousin, she did a Golden Girls one and it was 100 miles, but she had to
Yeah,
do 100
that's
miles
wild.
over, yeah, but it's like over 3 months. Like it's your race. So for 3 months, her and her girlfriend walked, and they walked. They didn't even run. They were walking and they got like a little cute Golden Girls medal. But that's what I'm saying. So there's options out there. So just pick a date, get some girlfriends, like just something different. I think sometimes we automatically think of doing things with groups. We have to like, let's get something to eat, let's go have a drink. But hey, let's be like you said, we want to be healthier, we want to make better choices. So say, hey, girls, for this year, let's say we're going to meet 3 months from now. We're going to meet up and let's all do a 5K. So like I said, you can do a virtual one. Brittany joined me on the Rump Shaker one. I do that one with some of my girlfriends, and we've done it for the past 14, 15
Oh,
years.
wow.
Like, and so it's like a tradition that we've started. I think that's a good way. So just pick a date, find a 5K, pick a date, stick to it. That's like
And
the most important.
yeah, and so the sticking to it is definitely a tough part. Many women in our age group or around the same age group, we juggle busy lives. You and I both are super busy all the time. How do you suggest we fit running into what is already a packed schedule?
Be realistic about it. It's make it a part of your life. Just like anything, you make things a priority, set a date. I know it's hard, like we're all busy, but just be like, hey, for 20 minutes, I'm gonna go walk the neighborhood and run the neighborhood. Just something, just put it in your schedule. I think that's the most important thing with anything. Like you said, we all have busy lives. We have children, we have work, we have family obligations. As we get older, some of us are taking care of like our parents and grandparents. So it's harder to find time. So it's just important to put it on the calendar. Make it important to you. That's the main thing about wanting to, fit anything into our schedule. We make time for what's important to us.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. All right. So, tip one is just start. Like you said,
Just
just
start.
get out there and do it. Let's go to tip two. Tip two is get a plan in place. And so, if we are talking about getting a plan, we usually think about that as the training and what that looks like. Could you share a simple training plan for someone who is just starting off wanting to run their first 5K? How often should they be running? What should those runs look like? Where should they run? Just in general, how do they get started?
Okay. I would say the easiest and the most common you'll hear people talk about is the couch to 5K.
Yes, I think that's
Um,
what I did. Yeah.
I think you did. I think I told you about it. A guy started
Mhm.
it in 1996, and he was trying to actually gradually introduce his mom to running. Like he had went through a bad breakup or something, and he actually used running as his outlet to get over that breakup. And then he was like, "Oh, this would be something great for my mom." So he was came up with this plan. You can Google Couch to 5K. It's a great plan. And it's really a walking, running interval training plan, which is
Yes.
what anybody starting should even do. So it kind of starts you as just running for a minute, walking for a minute. And even if you don't want to start with that plan, there's so many ways you can find your favorite song. I think we all like Beyonce. I hope we all
Love
do.
You, but hold
Look,
on. You have a
okay,
love for
let's
Beyonce that is different than the average person, guys.
true.
Jessica loves Beyonce and she loves Jay-Z, and they literally call her out from the stage. That's how many Beyonce concerts she
That
goes.
has happened. But that's another podcast. That's another show.
Another
Tune in
show.
for the crazy fans that love Beyonce. That's another show. Catch that one later. But so yeah, pick a song, any song. It doesn't have to be Beyonce, but just say to yourself, like, hey, I'm gonna run every time the chorus is played. I'm gonna walk during the verse. Like those little things. And the goal
Oh,
would
that's
be
good.
to run the whole song. Like I have friends get on the treadmill because all this doesn't have to be done outside. You can be on the treadmill and just be like, hey, every time the course plays, I'm gonna run as fast as I can, whatever it might be. Then you like, oh, I'm gonna walk every time it's the verse. So there's little things you can do. But like I said, we do want to get a training plan, get a guide, but those are little things you can do in the midst of it. But yes, Couch to 5K, they do have an app. I think they charge now. Back when
Oh,
you used it, it was free
it
because
was
you didn't
totally
use it.
free.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
free. Now they charge, but if it's something important to you, I want to say it's like 2.99. I don't think it's a bad investment if this is something that you're passionate about. And a lot of times you might need to pay because if you're like me, if I invest my money, I want to
Exactly.
use it.
Same. Yes.
So That would be a good option. Runkeeper is another one that has guides for you. The Nike app, the Nike Run Club, that's another great app. It's actually free on there. You can tell them the date of your run and it will give you a plan of what you need to do up until that date. So it'd be
Oh,
like you're
that's great.
running. Yeah, you run Monday. It might tell you to rest. It might tell you this day is your recovery day. So those are good things to get you started because you do need to possibly, you need to run at least 4 times a week. There's different plans. Like I said, the Nike one will spit out what you need to do. And I want to say that one is maybe 4 days of running.
Okay. That's great. And if you're driving, don't worry about writing those things down. I'm going to link all three of those, the Couch to 5K, Runkeeper, and the Nike app in the show notes. So you can certainly find them there. So you mentioned when we're starting out, making sure that you're getting that cardio, whether it's running or walking, in 3 to 4 days a week. What are some other strategies that help build endurance? So things other than running. If you remember in one of our recent podcasts, we had Dr. Sean Johnson, who is an orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine doc on, and she said kind of the same thing you're saying is that you don't have to run every day. You probably shouldn't run every day. That's a little bit harder on your knees. What are your recommendations for folks to do as they build endurance those other 3 or 4 days of the week that they're not running?
And I must say that was a great podcast. I really enjoyed
It
that.
was. Wasn't
And
she
she and
great?
she talked about cross training, and that's so important for runners. People don't realize that they think they should, like you said, run every day. Like I'm training to run, but you actually should be incorporating, getting jump on the elliptical, do your hit classes, do whatever other things you do. Go to Zumba, do something else because those things are still building endurance for you, and that's the key to finishing. If you ask Brittany, I think I ran the second one with her. I didn't I didn't leave her when we did
Yes,
the
you did. I
second one.
appreciate that. Thank you very
So
much.
probably the last 0.1 mile is when those cross training, those classes you've done outside of running is
Yes.
what really allows you to finish because that's where your kick or your endurance really kicks in and comes through. So I'm always encouraging people to do other things, not just the running and walking. Cross training is important to include in your plan. So don't just think you have to run and walk every day. Still do the things you enjoy. If you're going to Pure Bar, if you're going to the YMCA, whatever it might be, you're going to hit classes. You go to those still incorporate those into, and it's definitely strength training. I'm always preaching that. That's another lesson. As we get older women, we should be incorporating more strength.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's recap. Tip one is just do it, just get
Hmm.
started. Tip two, get a plan in place. Let's get into tip three, which you've already talked about a little bit, and that is get an accountability partner. So you certainly were my accountability partner when I was first starting, when we actually were running together. I then had a very sweet dog who has since passed away. She
Mm.
also became a bit of an accountability partner to me, especially as I was training. I mean, she knew we were supposed to be outside taking a walk or running. She actually did one of the 5Ks with me because I couldn't find an organized one, and she was not at all a fan of the 5K, but she did make me accountable in that she made me get out of the house and go actually do it. So, talk to us a little bit about the importance of having an accountability partner when we're trying to start or restart this journey.
And shout out to Ivy. You didn't say her
She was
name.
great. She
Look,
was
shout out to
awesome.
Ivy. And I run with my dog now, so they're the best accountability partners. We had to pick someone, but and it worked both ways. When you just said I was your accountability partner, you were mine because you would send me a text and like, oh, I just ran 2 miles and I almost died, and I'll be sitting there
Yes.
like sitting on the couch doing something not what I should be doing. I'll be like, let me get up because she went. So accountability works both ways, and that's why you should look for that partner. Like I said, it's also good because that's the best bonding time too. If you have an accountability partner that you're walking with and they're doing it with you and you're meeting up with them. So, tell a friend like, hey, I'm doing this. Why don't you join me? Tell your husband or your wife, like, hey, I'm doing this, do this with me. Tell your kids. It's any like those are the best bond. I've had the best talks like with my nieces and nephews. I walk with my friends every Saturday. We'll meet up and we walk sometime in the morning. So those are good times. So that's why it's good to have someone that hold you accountable because you're going to want to get up and go because you need someone to give you that push. Because I promise you, and it's natural. We all have those days where we just don't feel like doing anything. So
Yeah,
you want to
absolutely.
meet someone or get someone just to hold you accountable. Like I said, and it works both ways. So if you're doing it together and one is like, hey, I'm doing this today, you're like, oh, let me get up and do something if you haven't done anything.
Right, absolutely. That's so important. And did I hear you say earlier? So first, you have the coolest friend group. There are what, five of y'all, and y'all are thick as thieves and always so much fun. Did you say earlier that you guys have been running that Rump Shaker 5K for how many years?
I want to say 15. I would have to count it and tell you, and you put it in the bottom so we don't have any where I didn't tell y'all any fibs. But I promise it's probably
That
about
is wild.
15. We do it every every single year, and then they sometimes don't want to do it, but it's like a tradition that we started. And so even if they don't run anymore, they run that one time every year. So that's why I
I
was like,
love it.
get some girlfriends, or like I say, even your family. It's just start doing it. They're
Yep,
good bonding experience, even though
absolutely.
we take out all the parts about having the running and the stressing of it. But there it is ways to bond with others.
Absolutely. Let's get into tip four. Tip four that you sent me was about being consistent. So, would you talk a little bit about how one can stay motivated when they just don't feel like running? I mean, we talked about earlier how we're so busy. There are days that you get home at the end of the day and you just don't have time for it. What advice would you give us to help us with consistency?
Consistency is a tough one. I think we all struggle with that, but it's a mindset because you consistently go to work every day. You consistently do what you want to do. So it's really a mindset, but I get it. It's not something fun. So you but work isn't fun for some people.
Right? True.
So, but you consistently go it because there's a reward in the end. You get paid. You want to pay your bills. So you kind of have to more so get the mindset. I'm going to do this because I want to take care of me. I want to challenge myself to do something. So it's getting the repetition too. So that's what the plan also helps you do too, because it sets you up to what to do. Like you have 3 to 4 days to run, whatever the plan says, and you follow that. So once you start consistently doing something, it actually builds a habit. And when you stick to a consistent routine, it kind of becomes your identity.
Yeah, I literally, I was a whole runner. Those 5 months, like,
Yeah.
I was a runner. It was how I identified as a runner.
True. It like you can say like you stuck with it, forming the habit. That's the consist like you want to stay consistent. Like you said, it's a mindset saying you want to do it and finish it. That's going to kind of keep you hold you accountable and keep yourself consistent.
Well, let's review because we're at tip five now. So, tip one was just get started. Tip two, get a plan in place. Tip three, get an accountability partner. Tip four, be consistent. And tip five is run your race. So, tell us what you consider a successful 5K and what would you mean by run your race?
A successful 5K is simply just finishing it. I think we put so much on us like about perfection. It's just about finishing. So when I say run your race, is exactly what it is. Run your race. You're not going to go out there with me and run the time that I run. You might not even run the time of the 70-year-old lady that passed me. But the thing is, you focus on your race. And I think that applies to so many things in life. We're watching everybody moving. We see social media things are happening, but we really have our own journey. So whatever that might be, even if you start the plan and you just realize, like I don't think I'm able to do it, and you stop and you don't do it, and then you pick it back up. Like life happened. That's just it. Don't be so be kind to yourself. I think that's the most important thing. Be kind to yourself. So run your race, and the goal is simply to finish. No matter
That's
how
right.
you started, long as you finish.
And if I can add a tip six would be to make sure you hydrate, right? And so
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
making sure that you're getting water in, that you're drinking plenty of water, but also when you're running and you're sweating, your body's not just releasing water, right? You're losing some of the electrolytes that you
Yes.
need. So,
Yep.
really making sure that you're getting some electrolyte rich drinks because the last thing you want to do is run the 3 miles at the 3.1 and then you're
Right.
cramping so horribly that you literally cannot finish it. So, really making sure that you're hydrating. And for anyone who's not run one before, they have what do they call them, like hydration stations
Yeah. There's
throughout
like
at
water stations. Yep.
exactly, and they'll have water, they'll have Gatorade, Powerade all throughout to make sure that you're staying hydrated. So that will occur certainly during the an organized run, but even while you're training, making sure that you're really keeping yourself well hydrated throughout. So
And you want to stay hydrated during the run and even after. So first thing you do, they do have water waiting on you. Grab a sports drink with those electrolytes, put that back in your body because if you've been sweating, you've lost all those things. Even during your training process, just try to eat a balanced meal. Like I said, I'm not saying be on like some rocky, drinking eggs and all this stuff. No, you just need to, you need to just eat balanced meals. What we should be doing anyway. Like I said, you don't have to do anything special with your diet. And of course, running something a longer, you would need to take in some different things, eating more carbs and that type of thing. But that's different. You don't need to
yeah,
carb load.
gotcha. So as we start to wrap up, tell us one piece of advice you wish you had known when you first started running.
What I said to run your own race. I think my mindset was like, as my first one, I was really just trying to keep up with the pack. Didn't even know what to expect. I walked out there, you see all these people lined up, and everybody takes off running. And I'm like, I wish someone had told me just, hey, it's your race, run your pace. If you want to start walking at the beginning, start walking. It's your race. Like the goal is just to make it back around to the finish line.
And we'll end on because, again, the whole premise of this podcast and this show
Right.
is getting to healthier. And so we understand certainly the release of those feel good hormones that we get from running and walking. We also very much understand the mental health benefits that come from getting regular exercise and walking, but also the improvement of our blood pressure, of blood sugar. So people who have a diagnosis of hypertension or diabetes or
Mhm.
elevated cholesterol, getting regular exercise like running, like walking is so important to overall good health, to losing weight, and to being just generally healthier. Can you share how running has impacted your overall health and well being?
All the things you said, it's really a physical reward because a lot of times if you like I said, you start this plan and you continue to do it, you're going to eventually start to see changes in your body, your appearance. So that's already a win. Not only all the things you said, the physical reward, it's more of a mental reward for me. I have some of my best talks with God when I go run and walk. So I have some of my best ideas. So it's a release for me. Like I know people can't really see that because you're thinking like, oh, I'm struggling to breathe. I have all these things I'm trying to run. But as you start to do it more, it is my escape. I'm like a nature. I'm looking around. I can see things. I people watch. I listen to music. I listen to podcasts. Go ahead and plug listening to this podcast when y'all start. So you should listen to this while you start your journey of a 5K. But it's really been good for me just like I said, as a release. That the runner's high they say you get, that's true. That's why you felt like after you did your first one, you were like pumped and was like, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another one. But imagine getting that high just randomly on during the week after you've had a rough week. So it's more of a mental thing for me now because I don't run as much as like 5Ks, like far as doing the competitive type racing or whatever. But I run 3 miles at least every week. I do it every Saturday. That's like my Saturday morning thing for me to go out and run 3.1 miles.
And if you're looking for something to listen to while you are out running, whether it's running an organized 5K or while you are preparing for a 5K, you can certainly listen to episodes of Headed to Healthier. On purpose, I made each episode about 20 to 30 minutes. And so that is a perfect amount of time that you can get out, get those sneakers on, and get some steps in, whether you are running or walking. So that's my little gift to you is a perfect subset of time that you can get some exercise in and get prepared for that 5K. Well, Jessica, I'm so happy that you joined today. I'm going to do it. I mean, it's on my bingo card and it is on a line that I can do all of the other things. And when I scratch a line off on my bingo card, I get a massage. And so I'm not going to let not running this 5K be what keeps me from a massage. So I'm going to take to heart the things that you talked about today, and I'm going to cross that off my bingo card here very soon. I probably will be reaching out to you to be my accountability
No,
partner
no,
again.
you're not gonna have to reach out to me because you put it out in the atmosphere. So I'm gonna actually text you next week and be like, "Have you found a 5K to do yet?" So
There you
you're not gonna
go.
have to reach out with me because you told me now. So I'm gonna be checking in to be like, "Hey, have you checked to see if there's a 5K locally?" Or
There you
and
go.
a lot of times you don't have to do local. Like there's so many around the world. They're themed 5Ks. That's another reason I like 5Ks. They'll have wine 5Ks. They have like the color run now where they do throw all the paint on you. So there's different ones you can do. There used to be a Krispy Kreme one that they don't do anymore.
Yeah.
That would have been
That's a
cool.
wild combination, eating donuts
Ah,
and running,
yes. They
but
stopped like halfway through the race and would eat like 6 donuts
that's wild. That's wild.
and
I'm
take off
not
running.
encouraging that to be the 5K that my
No,
listeners run. I want you to get
please
out there
don't.
and
But you can't have a donut at the end. I think that's a lot of times that's pick something. Say when you finish your 5K, something you're going to give yourself or do for yourself because that's so important. Don't forget to celebrate your wins.
absolutely. Well, let's recap those 5 tips to running your first or next 5K. Tip number 1, just start. Get out there and do it. Tip number 2, get a plan in place. Tip 3, get an accountability partner. Tip 4, be consistent. And tip 5, run your race. So, Jessica Jackson, thank you again so much for joining us today.
No, thank you. This isn't part of it, but I'm going to tell you thank you for taking responsibility for your gift and your purpose. That's big. Lauren London said, in life, she don't want to miss her mark. And I tell you, you have not missed your mark. I applaud you for not just caring about your patients, because you could have just cared about your patients at your clinic, but you care about everyone. So you started a podcast of ways trying to reach people and educate us. And that's big.
Thank you. And I am so excited about this podcast. To our listeners, I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. Please share it with someone else. You pick your accountability partner. And if they don't already listen and haven't heard this episode, make sure you share it with them. Also, as you're running, if you need other accountability partners or want to share your journey to running your first 5K, join our Facebook group. I'll put the link to it in the show notes also. There are so many people in that group, and we will all cheer you on as you get ready for your first 5K. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for listening in today. I hope something you heard in this episode will help you on your journey to becoming healthier. Remember, this podcast offers general health information. I am not your personal physician. If you need advice that is specific to you, be sure to consult your physician. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider sharing it with a friend and reviewing it on Apple Podcasts. Also, be sure to subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Tune in next week for another great episode of Headed to Healthier. Until then, take care of yourself. Talk soon. Bye.